Hey everyone, welcome to Eat the Magic Escapade Edition. I'm your host, Jared the Greek. Call me Jared, call me Jay, call me anytime. And with me is, of course, my awesome co-host, Miss Eri Kagami.
Hey, it's Ari K. How are you today?
We can both rhyme. This is going to be a good time. I'm running out of rhymes to say, so I guess we'll have to finish this recording another day.
I have some news that will make you sad, though.
That was a hard word to work off of.
No, but I was kind of reading around the Epcot updates. And you know, like, how they have like that sparkly stuff on the ground as we were walking out?
Yeah.
It's no longer there. I hope they're going to bring those back once Epcot is complete, but I was reading somewhere like, yeah, the sparkly stuff that you really liked is no longer
So
there.
when they were working on that whole extra area for Future World and the land and whatever, they just tore that up and just replaced it, or?
Yeah, it seems like they're replacing it, but I just hopefully they'll bring it back somehow in a cool and exciting way. And also, Mouse Gears, the souvenir store that you and I went to get gifts for my mom, that's been completely gutted.
It was a pretty big store.
Yeah, it was a pretty big store, too, because we were, like, looking at just some of the merchandise, just kind of, like, slowly just weaving our way out. Because what we were doing to just kill time to avoid, like, the bum rush to the shuttles back to the hotels, like, oh, let's just kill some time, look at souvenirs, and just kind of look at the stores and how they're designed and how they're aesthetically displayed. Saw the Dream Fighter machine in there. And, like, yeah, it's just kind of surreal, just kind of seeing, like, the whole store completely gutted. Like, granted, yeah, I like Epcot. And while I have no, like, sentimental connection to Epcot outside of our first visit to Epcot last summer, it's just weird, like, we were just there. And these are things we genuinely liked.
Well, here's the thing I have with about any theme park that gets areas changed and what have you. I feel like I'm so used to it by now. And I understand when people have the issues with things being changed, because I still stand there and say that Golden Gate Bridge is better than generic bridge at California Adventure. In fact, most of the California has been removed from California Adventure at this point, other than Buena Vista Street, which took me a while to warm up to. I kind of like it more than Sunshine Square or whatever the heck it was originally called.
Postcardville.
Yeah. I do like it better just because it has this old-timey, like, what... It's like, hey, I want to go to Disney's Hollywood Studios, but I don't want to leave the West Coast, and I only want to be there for about 20 to 30 yards. And if you want to be in Disney's Hollywood Studios for 20 to 30 yards, may I highly recommend Buena Vista Street. Because that's what it is. It's old-timey Hollywood for about 20 to 30 yards, and then after that, you're just in the mountains, or you're in, quote, Hollywood land, end quote, which vaguely represents anything Hollywood, as far as I can tell. It's more just like a place to put the Frozen Theater and Monsters, Inc. the ride.
Which now has a fast pass. Can you believe that?
There's no reason to give that thing a fast pass.
I know, right now people can experience waits up to like 2 hours for Monsters, Inc. Totally not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. And of course, my favorite cool-off zone, the Animation Workshop, which actually is pretty good. It's a good cool-off zone. You listen to some old Disney music. It's not too bad. And you get a picture of Elsa and Anna and others.
Getting back to Buena Vista Street, I do like Clarabelle's hand-scooped ice cream. I like Gibson Girl, but sometimes there's too much of a wait for Gibson Girl and there's not a lot of seating, so to, like, chill, no pun intended, Clarabelle's is, like, my favorite ice cream place in the park.
One of the better memories I have with my mom is going to... What was the one before Clarabelle's? It was, like... Burbank. Yeah, it took me
DCA liked puns back in the day.
Yeah, I know. DCA was entirely puns, which is why no one liked it. It's also why I don't like it, as was brought by my brother earlier today. In fact, he's like, you really hate puns. I'm like, I do. So, but that was one of the better memories I had of California Adventure, which is not at all what we're supposed to be talking about. I'm just pointing out the fact that, like, parks change, and I try not to go too attached to it unless they're going to really take down something that was a major part of my childhood or something like that, which, obviously, the East Coast is not part of my childhood whatsoever, and out here, I think I was more broken up when I was watching the news, and it randomly said, this is the last day for Boomerang at Knott's, and I started screaming because I was like, why didn't someone tell me sooner I would have gone to Knott's to go on Boomerang one last time? Versus, you know, when they're like, hey, they're going to change an animatronic on Splash Mountain. And I'm like, until they re-theme the entire thing and no longer make me get wet on it, I have no interest. You gotta do both those things. I don't want to get wet, And I want a retheme.
I was just on Splash Mountain the other day, and like I was like 4th row, and I still got pretty soaked into shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they even have like more splash effects, like on that second hill drop where you do the double thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait, where did the squirting thing happen? Yay! Now my sleeves are wet.
Yep.
Anywho, so let's talk about Knott's Peanut Celebration.
The real reason why we're here.
So Knott's Peanut Celebration, it happens like in the early part of the year, goes until March 1st. Takes place at Knott's Berry Farm, obviously, and it's just a celebration of Charles Schulz's beloved Peanuts gang. There is a section of the park that is dedicated to the Peanuts gang, Camp Snoopy, but they also have like the walk-around characters year-round. So they have like Snoopy, Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy. Yeah, you can see them all many times during the year, but they really just amp up a lot of the Peanuts presence in the parks.
They also sometimes do holiday variations. You'll get Santa Snoopy. Last year we saw, though didn't get a photo with because our friend whose birthday it was wanted to be a stick in the mud. They had spring versions of, I believe it was Schroeder and someone else.
I think it was Pigpen, but I know you don't like Pigpen.
But but for the sake of a photo, I will do the photo with Schroeder. Or if I could, I will look at Pigpen and be like, do like a hand wave, like, oh, Stinky or something like that. I don't know. Do something silly pose. I say that now. We all know my interaction with characters is always, hi.
And out of the two of us, you're the one who likes to do all the character hunting and the character meet and greets.
I'm really weird like that. I got you into that. I got other people into that. And it's because as a little kid, I was always afraid of them. I was one of those kids. If you ever see the kid who's crying when they try to put him next to Mickey Mouse or Snoopy or whatever, I was that kid. So unless it was actually just like a person, like if it was Snow White as just a woman in the Snow White outfit, or there's a picture of me, if I looked through the right photo album, of me with, I think it's Conan and Red Sonja at Universal Studios, I was fine with that stuff because it was like a human person. And I was, although I thought they were He-Man and She-Ra, which is really sad because I didn't know what Conan was because I was like 4. And I don't know what parent would introduce their 4-year-old to Conan. Now that I say that, I need to introduce my nephew to Conan when he gets to be about 4. But the point is, as an adult, I am not scared of these characters, but I'm still really socially awkward with them. So even the characters I really want to get a photo with, I'm like, oh man, they're going to do, Scrooge McDuck, which I haven't gotten a Scrooge McDuck photo, but they had Scrooge McDuck. And I'd be like, yes, it's my childhood. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And the new version's great too. But if I met Scrooge McDuck, I'm like, hi. Yeah. Yeah. Money. Thank you. It's so weird. It's like I'm most enthusiastic until the second I'm face to face with the character. And then suddenly I'm like 4 again and I'm confused and scared.
So yeah, let's talk about Peanut Celebration. So when you enter the park, like you see like a couple photo op zones. Like not only you can get photos with Snoopy, and the lines are relatively short and they go by pretty fast. You're not like waiting forever to get a photo op with the character. So it's typically like 1 photo per guest.
Yeah, basically.
What makes the line just run really smoothly. So heads up, if you're doing this like on a busy day, because we went on a Sunday, you're probably going to get 1 photo on your phone just so they can get the line moving, which is pretty understandable. So have your pose ready to go. I ended up bounding as Spike, one of Snoopy's siblings. And when you enter the park, you get all these photo op zones, and you can like take photos like in these like Instagram booths where you can like interact in like comic type situations. Like you have holding on to like Linus's blanket. You can hang out at Woodstock's Nest. So it's kind of like this Instagram selfie zone, which I thought was pretty unique and creative.
I agree on the creativity. It's something I don't think I would ever really do. I think what I liked was the little speech bubbles.
Yes, so once you get into Camp Snoopy, you get like the speech bubbles from the comics, and you get various character catchphrases. Like you get, example, good grief.
You get the Z's for sleeping. Arg.
Og.
Og.
It's a Charlie Brown scream. For the longest time, I always spelled it as OGGGG exclamation point because I would use that expression in my diary when I was in like 4th and 5th grade too, because I didn't know what 4-letter word expletives were, so I would just use OG, and OG is actually spelled AUGH.
Yep.
Exclamation point.
That is how Charles Schulz spelt it, and therefore that is how it is spelled. There's a couple others in there as well. But I like that. It was just kind of this cute little, like, it's just a little extra theming that doesn't require, too much money. You print out a sign, you post the sign on a pole, people take photos with sign.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat, too. And I did see the Red Baron plane parked outside the, I don't know what they're officially called, but because of Scary Farm, I call them the Wicker Man Caves. So right outside the Wicker Man Caves, they have, like, the Red Baron plane there, and I thought that was pretty neat. I don't know if that's there year-round, but I'm like, oh, hey, Red Baron plane.
And speaking of things I didn't know are around year-round, they had a little booth done up like one of Lucy's booths, and it was called, what was it, a grown-up translator or something like that? And
yeah, it has a qua 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 qua.
And then it'll play another character saying another line, which is the translation. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a year-round thing, but I thought that was clever when I
That's
when
actually
I
part of the Peanut celebration, so that's an added thing that I added to Camp
I was
Snoopy.
right. I was right. Thank you.
But we're kind of too old to ride the rides over at Camp Snoopy, but there was one ride that we could go on that had a theming to Peanut Celebration, and that was Grand Sierra Railroad.
That being said, I still want to go on Snoopy versus the Red Baron again, just because that is a ride from my childhood, but I feel like they would not allow me to do that. They'd be like, no, random guy in his 30s, you stay off this
childless
ride.
millennial.
Are you going on this ride with a child? And then I'll just like, she's 5'1". It's like child height-ish. And they'll give me a look, and I'll just put my head down and walk away.
What you need to do is either you bring your nephew, or I bring my niece and my nephew, and we'll do a Knott's Day with them, just so we can go on Snoopy versus Red Baron. We no longer
plan.
have to be childless millennials of Knott's.
Yes, we can just carry around someone else's child. I borrowed this child. Let me go on this ride.
So Grand Sierra Railroad was rethemed for Peanut Celebration. And it was based off this Snoopy special where he invites his siblings and they do, like, what was it, the Beagle Bash or the Beagle Bonanza?
Beagle Bonanza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some alliteration like that. And it's rethemed, and it's really easy to retheme because it's just cardboard cutouts of Snoopy and his siblings. So you kind of go through the train ride, and then you see all of Snoopy's siblings. I keep saying cousins. And then you see, like, the Beagle Bonanza Fair, and then you can, like, just make your way around. You see them playing instruments, and then you also see, like, this boysenberry, this woodstock made up of boysenberries, and I thought that was pretty clever. Like, thank you for reminding me that boysenberry is coming soon on March 20th.
And it has a re-recorded lines from Linus about the whole thing. And I like it so much more than the standard, because the standard, he rips on Charlie Brown multiple times, and it always bothered me, because Linus is the closest thing Charlie Brown has to a friend, and to a best friend, no less. Because Linus tolerates Charlie Brown's anxiety disorder really well, and he tries to, like, say, hey, things will work out, you stress too much. And it's one of those ones that's really weird to hear Linus insulting Charlie Brown, because it's, like, not the guy who doesn't do that. It'd be like as if Schroeder started insulting Charlie Brown, and you're like, I don't even think Schroeder knows who Charlie Brown is. I think Schroeder's so caught up in his own world that, like, when Charlie Brown was, like, in charge of the play, he was just kind of, like, looking at him like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
whatever.
Schroeder is in the world of his own right now.
I'm doing the music. I don't care. I'm doing some Beethoven Christmas music. Gotta love that scene. It's just not giving Lucy the time of day.
And I'm not as versed with, like, the Snoopy and the Charlie Brown cartoons, but I did notice, like, a few nods to some of the ones that I am familiar with. Like, when you go into the Beagle Bonanza, like, festival area, it says, all dogs allowed. I'm like, oh, hey!
That's cute. Yeah, I got that one, too.
No dogs allowed. As sung by the guy who did the narration for the Haunted Mansion.
A friend of mine used to do that every time we were trying to get the dogs out of the room for, probably, like, dinner or whatever, when they're trying to steal our food half the time. Just push that dog out the door and go, no dogs allowed, and close the door on them. And it was always funny for Scott, less funny for Maggie.
Anyway,
these are my dogs. I love my dogs. They have both passed.
Rest in peace. So, overall thoughts on Grand Sierra Railroad Beagle Edition?
I think they could keep this going during Boysenberry Festival, and I think it would work perfectly fine, because they have the reference to, oh my gosh, I want some boysenberries. And I'm like, well, there you go. And it's just like a much more upbeat version of that ride versus, ripping on poor Charlie. And then, but the original one does have, like, the Beagle Scouts doing Beagle Scout stuff. And I remember that from one of the movies, or one of the specials, or whatever they are. and it had Spike just chillaxing, just hanging out. I'm like, all right, Spike's just hanging out.
Yeah, speaking of Spike, we did get a photo op with Spike. Spike is an exclusive character that they have for Peanut Celebration, and that made me happy because I love Spike.
Okay, so fun fact, anyone who gets to go with me if not, one of my hobbies is to go down to any of the stores that sell Snoopy merch and go through all of his like siblings and then say who in my life equals that sibling. And like Spike's been one of my favorites ever since I saw his design. I'm like, I like this guy. He wears a hat. And by the way, my choice of designs does fall to something as simple as hats. And I think I'm the Spike of our group. I live in California.
Yeah, I clearly live in a desert.
I practically live in a desert. I always look put upon.
You always look sleepy.
I always look sleepy. Although he lives near some cacti, so that could be...
He lives in a cacti.
He lives in a cacti, so that could be the effects of peyote. Who knows? But it's one of those things where I felt like I'm the Spike of the group, and then Ramses is the Olaf of the group, and you're the girl Snoopy of the group.
Belle.
And I'm not sure who the Snoopy of our group is. Still trying to figure that one out. Someone needs to have the status of Snoopy, and I've yet to figure out who has the status of Snoopy.
Okay, who of us sleeps on the roof?
Yeah, I don't know anyone who sleeps on the roof. And then there's Marbles, who I lovingly call white privilege Snoopy. I like these characters that I know nothing about because they're all from specials and stuff that came out way after I stopped caring about the Peanuts.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like track down some of these Peanuts specials that we haven't quite seen.
Pointless episode discussions.
I know I recently showed you Flash Beagle.
Well, the opening of that, yeah, I know. I was like, wow, this opening goes on for a while. I always liked Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. Thought that was a pretty good special.
Okay, I'm probably mixing up stuff, but I could have sworn that there is a Charlie Brown Goes to France.
Bon voyage, Charlie Brown, parentheses, and don't come back, end parentheses. Because everyone's a dick to the guy with the anxiety disorder. I hate you, 70s. Stop treating people with anxiety disorders so horribly.
So, I just keep getting because my brain is just such a blur, because again, it's like one of the many things I've seen in childhood, because that episode, the events of that episode blur with the episode of Bart Simpson going into France and getting put upon.
I kind of agree with that. I'm like, I remember someone gets separated from the group and is just wandering around like vineyards. I don't know if it's Snoopy or Charlie Brown and Snoopy. And then that's all I remember of it actually at this point. And I remember there was like some pen pal or something that probably Charlie Brown had that he was trying to meet up with.
But there's like some sort of criminal issue going on.
Yeah, something like that.
Both of those happen in the same thing in The Simpsons and in the Snoopy special.
It's criminals trying to make tainted or watering down their wine of turpentine in order to sell it at a cheaper production cost.
So yeah, like my brain just kind of blurs like the two plot points, because again, saw them at the same time when I was growing up, around about, and it's been a while since I've seen either episode/special.
It's been a long time since I've seen that special. I remember the title more than I remember what happened in it.
Even I was like, wait, did I dream or did I make up that there was a Charlie Brown Goes to France special?
There was one of the channels, I want to say Cartoon Network way back in the day, I'm talking like 93 Cartoon Network era, used to show like during the summer like all the various non-holiday related Charlie Brown specials. And they rerun them all the time because Turner just had however many cartoons for Cartoon Network at the time. And they didn't have any of their original stuff yet. So I remember they would play those. And those are the only two I remember watching because those are the two from my childhood. And then I'm like, ooh, it's on again. I'll watch that. And Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, was the one I always called Camp Snoopy because I could never remember the name of it when I was a little kid. And then it was just like, up next, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. And I'm like, sure. I'm like 12. There's nothing to do. And then it came on like, oh, it's the one where he goes to camp. I was like so excited. I was like, oh, that's what its title is. I will remember that. Like I didn't see the Thanksgiving special until like my little brother went through his Snoopy phase. And then I saw the Thanksgiving special and I was like, oh, this is a thing.
I remember on Hulu they had at first I thought it was the classic Charlie Brown Christmas special, but it actually was an episode that was more Spike focused. It was like, I Want a Dog for Christmas, Charlie Brown. It's like, okay, I haven't seen this one, and that dog happens to be Spike.
So he gets an owner at the end?
Yeah, then Spike leaves.
That sounds like Spike.
Because said owner could realizes the responsibilities of having a dog. It's not all...
Spike seems very self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. I don't know if, like he's like the cat of dogs. Just very... can take care of himself. So I don't see how that's a... But I get what they're trying to say in the episode. Poor Spike. It's like, whatever, man. I'm going back to my cactus. Call me when there's a family
Spike
reunion.
returns. I haven't seen the full special, but I was just kind of hunting down clips on YouTube. Because I was like, I wonder if someone's ever made like a breakdown of all of Snoopy's siblings. And I kind of want to know about the Snoopy litter. And like, oh, here's just only clips. Oh, here's this clip of Spike going to Snoopy's to be his best beagle for Snoopy's wedding. And I wasn't aware of this.
Who'd Snoopy get weddinged to?
I don't know.
If it's his sister, then this gets really Game of Thronesy for my taste.
Anywho, so yeah, it's got some photo ops with Spike. And let's just talk about some of the show offerings that they have there.
They had quite a few little show things on their little board. We didn't really see any of them.
Yeah, we just kind of like we're just passing through. Happiness is kind of like a musical review type thing on the Calco Mine stage.
And they do two different versions of that, because there's like an evening version and a day version.
Yeah, and there's Woodstock's Music Festival. They have like a local band come in, just kind of playing music in the evening, just kind of like a party for the adults. However, if that's not your thing, over at Fiesta Village, they had Spike's Discoteca di Silencio, Spike's Silent Disco. We were kind of curious about this because I'm like, okay, it sounds pretty gimmicky with the title. Kind of curious what they mean by a silent disco, but we didn't really stick around too long to find out. But thankfully, there's YouTube, and we can see what it's all about. So apparently, it's a dance party, and the characters do show up on stage. Like, you do see Lucy in like this Mexican type of cultural clothing, and then in the audience, you see the dancers, like whoever wants like to get on the dance floor, they're wearing headphones. So it's...
And the weird thing is, I've heard of these before.
I haven't.
I heard of them on one of those, like, maybe it was on like the Soup or something back in the day. It had to have been something like that where they were talking about it. Where some sort of parody thing, maybe Daily Show, I don't remember. And it was like, back in the day what it would be is that everyone would have, like, you know, you have personal radios or whatever. You put your headphones on, you plug them into your personal radio, and then everyone would tune it to the specific radio frequency the disco had. And so everyone's hearing the same music and dancing without creating a noise violation or that kind of stuff. And if anyone wants to just order food or sit down or take a break, they can take off their headphones or hit the off button on their machine, and suddenly you no longer have to deal with the noise or any of that kind of stuff. And whenever they were doing it as like a joke of like, yeah, that's the reason why people go to parties. And I was thinking, like, you know, I kind of would prefer that because I hate the noise and stuff. And if I wanted to record like a food review there, I totally could. And it would just be me giving the review with like people dancing in the background, which I have plenty of videos of people dancing in the background. Heck, I have videos with me dancing. Don't watch those people. Like,
no, watch them.
Don't watch me dance.
Watch them because it gives us hits and views.
Yeah.
We might not be monetized for them, but it's fun.
Well, some of them might get taken down if they're monetized because we have, you know, pop music or whatever in the background. But yeah, I think it's a cool concept. The only issue I have is if I have to use their headphones, I feel like I would want to cut my ears off afterwards because I don't know what kind of creepo has used these headphones before me. And that would bother me.
Hashtag OCD problems.
Yeah. But if there was like a Knots app and I could just plug my own headphones into my phone, load up the Knots app and select disco mode, and I'm hearing the same music as everyone else, I'm down.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I'll do that.
You just go in, you just kind of QR type thing on your phone. It'll take you to like a version of their Spotify that DJs their music, and you just kind of like just plug right in. Also, it's efficient too because like you don't have to keep buying headphones every year.
Yeah,
have people just use their own device.
It'd be a bit of a battery killer, but you know what? If you're doing it at the end of the night and you're just going to drive home anyways, and as long as you know your way home, or you have a car where you can charge your phone, which is like all cars now, who cares? Have fun. Do some dancing.
They also have Space Beagle, but Space Beagle's always been there as a regular mainstay. Also at the Birdcage Theater, they have Peanuts Sketch School, so like if you want to like just learn how to draw I mean, that was a great opportunity to, like, just do Peanuts sketch school. I don't know who's teaching it. I mean, I think it'd be cool if they got someone, like, from... I don't know what studio's working on Peanuts specials and whatnot.
Well, the last movie they did, wasn't that, like, more of, like, a CG-looking thing?
Yeah, it was a CG-looking thing. I forgot what studio did that, but it just escapes my mind.
I was told it was good.
Bluebird or Blue Box? Same folks who...
Blue Sky.
Yes.
I think.
I think Disney owns them now?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might just be two things that have similar names. I heard from people who saw that the CG one is actually pretty good. I've never had the opportunity to see it.
Yeah, it hasn't showed up in any of our streaming services, but I heard good things about it. I've never actually seen it. But I think it's kind of cool to have, like, an opportunity where you can, like, just, like, learn from professionals, like, how to draw.
Yeah, Charles Schultz's designs aren't particularly complicated. I think any artist worth their salt could probably teach the class. I mean, he had to draw very simplistic designs every, like, week or every day or whatever it was. So, you know, you can't make them too complicated.
I do know in 5th grade, when I was really bored, sometimes I would just randomly draw Snoopy. And there was actually a formula on how to draw Snoopy.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with a number 25. You can figure out from there.
It's Homer Simpson, and it begins with Matt Groening's initials.
Okay. So you also have Peanuts Cowboy Jamboree. That's over at Calico Park. Pigpen over at the GT Library Stable. If that's at the stable, I'm just kind of curious what kind of show that would be.
It might not even be a show. It might just be the meet and greet.
Mm.
Or maybe they bring some pigs into the stables. That would be kind of funny.
Okay, we'll have to check that out next time we're at the park.
Yeah, we walked by the stables. We didn't go inside them.
Of course, they have the Calico Saloon Show.
Which probably isn't any different. But it's a fun show. It's a nice show to watch while you're trying to cool off and drinking a sarsaparilla.
I do like me some sarsaparilla.
Or a Calico soda. I do recommend the Calico soda. Plus, you get to keep the container thing if you want to, which I use to hold candies.
And also at the Old Town Hall in Ghost Town, they also have, like, just sketches and drawings from Charles Schulz, just kind of like a mini gallery there. I thought they're going to do more things with the Red Barn, to, like, have, like, a more of a Peanuts gallery kind of type thing, or, like, where artists have, like, artistic interpretations of the Peanuts gang, kind of like what they did for... What was it? Not Ghost Town Alive. Not Scary
Farm. Yeah.
And also...
Everyone does their own version of the Green Witch.
Right. I thought they would, like, have something like that. But I kind of understand, like, they're all technically IP of someone else. So I think that would be a little bit kind of sketchy. No pun intended.
I don't know what the rules are and how much leeway Cedar Pine has with Peanutsy stuff. That is true. For they can sell the merch and whatever, but you're right. All other artists that might be crossing a line.
Because technically the artists are still making money off that IP that they're drawing their art of.
Schulz has decades worth of comic strips, so yeah. Assuming that newspapers still exist, which I'm not entirely certain they do, and then assuming that the Funnies is still part of the newspaper, they can still put those there. But I know that the Peanut collection books usually still sell pretty decently. Because you still see them on shelves, which to me would mean that people are buying them.
At my old university, we had a cafe called Charlie Brown's Cafe. And that cafe, if you're a Peanuts fan, was like heaven, because they would have like all the old comic strips just as part of its decoration.
That's pretty cool.
And our library was actually named after Charles Schulz.
Is he from Northern California?
Yes. And he also has like his own museum up there too.
All right.
And so,
I don't know a lot about the man, to be honest.
And so we also have treats.
Yeah, I ended up getting way too much sugar in my system.
We went to Ghost Town Bakery because we already had something savory for lunch, and we wanted to focus this trip on focusing on sweets. So we went to Ghost Town Bakery, and everything had Peanuts-related stuff in it.
And some of them had peanut butter in them, which is nice.
Well, that's what I meant, no pun intended. So, like, all of the treats are very peanut-themed.
Yeah, not all
in more ways than one.
So the 4 things I went through, and it's all 4 unique items they offer at Ghost Town Bakery, is the Charlie Brown macaron rune, which is now my new joke, macaron rune. And it actually has peanut butter cream in the middle, which is nice. And it's yellow with the little chocolate zigzaggy shape like his shirt. The what's it called? The Doghouse Brownie, which is a brownie with a cream top that's shaped kind of and then covered in frosting that is shaped, in a triangle like the Snoopy's doghouse, with a cake pop ball that's black with white with black spots on it, like, kind of Snoopy. And it's very well themed. It is delicious. It's one of the best brownies I think I've ever had. And I'm a guy who loves his brownies for sure. It's just gets very rich with all that cream, and the cake pop's always a nice little bonus. The everything but the kitchen sink cookie is it's a huge cookie. It has marshmallows, little mini M&Ms, chocolate chips, chocolate fudge, caramel, and probably some other stuff on there that I'm just not coming to my head right now. And that's got to be a reference to something, and I'm sure it's a reference to one of the specials or something like that I've never seen. Because it feels like something Charlie Brown would have made, trying to make a really good cookie, but then kind of failing by just putting everything on top of the cookie because he couldn't decide. And then they had the root beer, what was it called? The root beer float trifle?
Yes, that was good. That was my favorite out of all the four.
That was interesting. It is essentially comes in a little mini mug, and it is cake, delicious vanilla frosting, cake again, with then layer of more frosting and a whipped cream, a candy straw, and the cake itself tastes like root beer. And I don't know how they pulled that off, because it feels like even if you use actual root beer as an ingredient, it wouldn't absorb into the cake, but it did very well. And it was delicious, and definitely something I would say worth trying. I don't think it would be my number one. My number one would probably be the brownie. But man, that's the one you need to try. So there's a difference between what I think is the best and what I think you should try. You gotta try this, especially if you love root beer. It's root beer cake. Freaking root beer cake. And so because of that, yeah, I loved that. I just felt like I probably went through too much. I had to bring back half the brownie and most of the cookie back.
And the nice thing is Ghost Town Bakery gives you plastic containers. So if you're doing this as an end of the day type thing, and you're kind of feel like you can only finish half it, or if you want to just take something for the road, they do give you to-go containers.
Mm-hmm. Which is very, very helpful, and thank you for that. A lot of places don't do that. But there's a lot of savory stuff that I have yet to have the chance to try.
A lot of them are dog-themed, and we're hoping to do that on our next visit to Knott's for Peanut Celebration. And
then there's the item that might lower my lifespan, but I kind of want to try it. The deep-fried PB&J.
We'll have to check that out on our next visit.
Something about that, my brain goes like, dude, you know this is shortening your lifespan, and I'm like, I do. Let's try it. Some of the dogs seemed really good, yes, and I think there's a couple other options in there that I'm not coming to my mind. I remember a potato thing. I don't know.
They do have some themed fries. I wasn't really feeling it.
Fries, that's what it was.
They do have another themed funnel cake, which might be something to look into once we're done nomming the dogs, and more sugary treats for you to try. But the good thing about getting funnel cake at Cable Car Kitchen is at least they also give you a to-go box. But at the same time, when you get that funnel cake right in front of you, you also want to eat that fresh.
I want to point out that a lot of the funnel cakes they make there actually use ice cream, and you cannot take them home because unless you live in
Buena Park.
My house is not that far. It is, I would say, what?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. 20 minutes while holding on to ice cream that isn't in an ice cream container isn't going to be completely melty.
And I'm not going to put the car at 33 degrees.
Yeah. It's just going to be one of those things where you have to walk that out of the park to your car to then drive home with it before eating it.
And that's assuming that you're parked either in the main lot or even at the south lot by the hotel. This time around, we had to park over at the western lot, which is where you enter through the Ghost Town side.
And you have to cross the street. So
it's better than the La Palma lot. La Palma lot is the worst. I hate the La Palma lot.
What I'm trying to get to is the funnel cake is still hot. So the funnel cake is hot. You have to carry this thing. It's just going to melt. Now, I don't know if their Peanuts ones are ice cream based. If they are, just make sure that you have at least one other person with you or two stomachs. And then, order it. And if you have to, at least eat the ice cream part. And you could probably take the remainder of the funnel cake back home with you. Although I think we've said that before. And then just the whole thing disappears. Just like, screw it. We're just going to eat the whole thing. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I like the boysenberry funnel cake. Because it's just...
you can take it home.
Yeah, it's just boysenberry preserves on top. I know they have a couple others like that. But I remember their Halloween one, the candy corn one, was also ice cream based. And that was planned to be a take-home, and I was like, oh, bother. And I had to go and eat through most of that. I think I did take half of that home still, but we had to make sure the ice cream was gone off of it, because otherwise it would not have lasted.
And we had that chocolate funnel cake from their Christmas collection.
That didn't have ice cream, though, did it?
It did. That's why you have to, eat it
That's
right away.
That was one of those ones that was the unexpected ice cream. Yeah. So just
Knott's has awesome funnel cakes.
They do. They are the best, and I really recommend them. Hell, that you can actually just park at Knott's and go to their little shops outside the theme park.
Yeah, you could hit the cable cart kitchen. You don't have to get inside Knott's Berry Farm to try the funnel cakes. You can just go right in the cable cart kitchen, wait in line for a bit. It does get pretty popular.
I think they give a 2-hour validation or something like that.
I think it's I forgot how long the validation is, but I do know, if you spend over $20,
I think
your parking gets validated, but I forgot.
I think it might be your parking is free if you can go over $20. I think it's something like that. So, yeah, you can hit Cable Car Kitchen. You could go grab fudge at the candy shop. I'm sure it has a proper name.
Or you also can get a to-go meal at a Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner.
Yeah, but it's better to sit down and just enjoy that, not the to-go version. And I do recommend that. That one you're going to have to get reservations. But it's totally worth it. I've gone there multiple times in my life. It is my favorite place to go.
All right. Take us out, Jared.
All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this little taste. I see what I did there. Of the Peanut Celebration at Knott's Berry Farm. If you are in the region, go check it out. I think you'll have a lot of fun. You don't even
Especially if you're a Peanuts fan. I think you'd really enjoy this.
Yeah. Tons of photo ops. The Sierra Railroad. The little music shows, I'm sure, are cute, and you could learn to draw them. You don't have to do any of the rides if you don't want to.
Yeah, we hardly did any rides. I think the only ride we went to was Grand Sierra Railroad just to see the changes made. But other than that, Knott's is just one of those theme parks where you can just kind of walk around and still just take in the atmosphere and still have fun with it.
Yeah. And then you could say hi to one of our friends at the stunt show.
His name is Skunk Mayfield?
Yeah, I believe he's Skunk Mayfield. So,
and sometimes he shows up as a interviewee on that horror show by Paranormal Inc.
Yeah. See, it's fun when you know staff at theme parks, because then you can reference that people can go say hi to them.
Yeah, I had a friend who did photography for Scary Farm, and anytime he shows up at Scary Farm just as a guest, a lot of the monsters still know him by a full name, so they would just call out his name anytime they would see him in a spooky manner.
That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Should just do it anyways. I'm not even a monster. I'm just mess with them. But yeah, I really do recommend this. It's really cute, and it's a nice thing to kind of go and check out before the transition into Boysenberry Festival. And of course, I'm doing Boysenberry Festival. I'm just going to show up every single day. It's just going to be my lunch, dinner, every day. That's my plan. I know people who want to come down and, go with me. And I'm like, yes, come. Boysenberry Fest.
And we have the annual pass, so you can technically go every day. You just got to find your own ride.
Yes. And anyone who takes me can get I think I can give discounts with my pass. Is that how that works?
I'm not sure, but we probably would have to, look up the website.
I think there's some sort of rule for that, but it's probably not a every single day thing. That would be a once a month thing or something I could do, but whatever. Don't count on me for discounts, but it might be a thing I can do. Anyhow, all that being said, very excited. It's nice to go to one of these theme things and actually have a really good time. And it's not one of those, oh, it's Christmas, oh, it's New Year's, oh, it's whatever. It's just, hey, we have mascot characters. Let's just talk about how awesome these mascot characters are. And yeah, they are awesome. And it's a nice part of all of our childhoods, and I really do enjoy that. And it didn't feel like they were, they feel like they put out a lot of effort into doing this for the couple of months that it's around. So until next time, this is Jared for Ari saying, you better eat the magic. And if you see me at the park, say hello.
or else.